Chat, how's it going? Welcome in to another Scrim School ScrimCast. I am your host, Bobby Socks. Today, we will have a very special one. We actually have three guests with us. We have Pantho, we have Mrleg, and we have Wyvern. I'm super hyped about this. These guys are all tourney players. They've played together quite often. They know each other's movements and styles and stuff. They're also very, very good at Face It. So this is gonna be a really informative one. I'm looking forward to it. If this is your first time at a Scrim school, I play video games kind of well, but I am here learning, same as y'all. So if you have any questions throughout the ScrimCast, feel free to ask. Type it in chat. We'll read them off. We'll ask these guys. You can direct it to solo. You can direct it to all of them. It's up to you. Let us undeafen them and get them all in here. Gentlemen, how's it going?
Going good, man. How are you?
Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's start it off and do some intros. Who are you? What do you do? What do you like? It doesn't have to be in-game. It can be out of game. What do you enjoy?
Who goes first? I'll go first. I'm Pantho. I play rugby, go to school. Used to be a Halo COD kid. Started playing Destiny when it launched when I was like 2 years old. I don't know, here I am. Got good at Destiny and started running tourneys.
That's awesome.
Well, I guess I'll go next. I'm Wyvern, 19. I've been playing games with my brother since I was a little kid. Basically grew up on Halo and started playing Destiny because Bungie made it. And we all love Bungie. Just going to school. I used to play tennis and stuff and been playing tourneys and streaming the past few years. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Leg. I play Destiny. I like sniping a lot. I'm not a big fan of shotgunning. I'm 19 years old. I pretty much just do whatever. That's pretty much it, to be honest. I don't really do anything. I just do what I do.
You just play Destiny.
Pretty much, dude.
Well, shit, that's awesome. It's cool to hear you guys have, obviously, besides have some outdoor stuff going on.
I can't think of stuff. That's why.
He's like, yeah, I do outside. Yes.
Sometimes, man. Sometimes.
I feel it. All right.
Even Leg leaves his fucking house. My goodness.
Right. Let's say something. Leg is throwing facts. Leg's not throwing because he only plays video games. So if you guys haven't caught one before, kind of the way this works out is we just ask questions. It's open for chat to ask questions as well. Kind of pick your guys' brains, get some insight into your mentalities and stuff. I'll ask some questions and then we'll jump in. So let's kick it off. What brought you all to Destiny? What got you hooked on this game? And when did you start?
Well, I mentioned I've been playing since launch, and I don't know. Honestly, I remember being like, oh, how old was I? God knows how old I was, but one of my friends got the game, and I remember, okay, then I don't know, maybe a week later I got the game. They actually used to make fun of me for playing Destiny, you know. I used to play cause they would play Minecraft, they play all these other games, and I would just straight up just play Destiny. And when I was so high level compared to them, they wouldn't they would sort of say something about it. But you know, launch of Destiny, I mean, I was for my age I was good, but I wasn't OP. I started swaying in year 2 D1. And I don't know, I mean, I wasn't bad, I wasn't tourney winner, I wasn't crazy, but I don't know, went to D2, PlayStation, actually late D1, met Leg, PlayStation, played with Leg.
Okay.
And then, since D2, me and Leg, just crazy, we went crazy.
Right on. Leg, what you got? When did you start? And then we'll jump to one.
For me, it all started because way back, me and my brother used to just like play Call of Duty a lot, and then when he just got sick of games, I started playing like the Xbox by myself, and then I used to play with my cousins only like majority of my cousins, and then one of my cousins recommended D1 when it was in pure alpha beta, like when
Okay.
you only could play like one map and
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. Yes, that was the days, and then I got hooked on it. I'm serious. I literally got hooked on it. I couldn't wait, and then I started mainly playing D1 when Crota's End came out. That's when I started like getting physically hooked
Okay.
onto that shit. That was too good. And then years passed. I wasn't like very into sweats until like end of year 2 D1. And then yeah, I started getting into it. I met Pantho like he said. And then here we are now. Just chilling on PC. The tourney's on
Yeah.
PS4 and then the tourney's here.
Love to hear it. It's kind of nice to hear some PlayStation sweats because it's always the Xboxers.
Yeah.
That,
Oh, I was an Xbox kid. I was an Xbox kid.
That's
They
where
used
Xbox
to
came.
call me the Xbox kid. They used to call
Yeah,
me
they
the
did.
Xbox kid on
Year
PlayStation.
4 D1, every Panther was
They
just
used to
known as
call
the
me the
Xbox
Xbox
guy.
kid.
that's funny. Guys, what you got? When'd you start?
Well, so I have a brother who's 10 years older than I am. So because like he was playing Halo a lot. He was like rank 50, like super sweat, whatever. So as a little kid, he was kind of like showing me like how to play shooters and stuff, mostly on Halo. So because I kind of grew up on a Bungie game, like when Destiny was coming out, we were both really excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically got the game. I didn't even really know what it was, but I just got it because he got it. And I played vanilla, I played Vault, and I honestly wasn't that into the PvP. I was like, it just felt kind of like it was crazy compared to Halo. Halo's kind of controlled and whatever, and Destiny's not. But I kind of went and played Halo a little bit, and then Dark Below came out, and something about Dark Below just hit different, and I kind of got hooked. I just played and played. I was pretty good. I kind of in D1, like Pantho and Leg started sweating. I didn't really sweat in D1. I had a bunch of friends who were much worse than I was, but I didn't really care because I was just having fun doing whatever. So I wasn't really sweating. And then in D2, I kind of figured out like, that I was getting better, and I started, like if I ever played, like, this is a tip that I give to pretty much everyone if you're trying to like play sweats and stuff. Literally anyone that beat me, anyone that I had a close game with, whether I won or lost, like on Xbox, I just send friend requests to the entire other team, like over and over and over again. And some people would ego my request more did than didn't, but every once in a while, like a sweat would add me and I'd play with them, and then I'd meet more people through them and add more people, and then eventually I moved to PC and did the same thing and met more people, and here we are.
That's actually really, really smart. I love to hear that kind of backstory too, at how you grew into it. So this is my nice little flex for the day. I was a D1 alpha tester.
Oh, sick.
I still have the first look alpha on my PlayStation. I like to flex it every once in a while. Like, yeah, I was there. Back when
You're one of those guys.
Yeah. Back when you could only go up like 4 levels and Titan's bubble could move, and
I remember that. That's
Oh
so.
my
Oh
God.
my god.
we're bringing it way back, right? So I started back then because I've always been a fan of Bungie. I used to play Halo semi-competitively. Like, we had tournaments inside our high school locker or high school like gyms and stuff like that, a bunch of LAN parties and shit. And I got a key just out of luck. One of my coworkers was like, "Hey, I got an alpha key to the new Bungie game, but I can't play it because I'm going out of town. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yeah." And I probably sunk. God, I must have sunk at least 60 hours into it in the week it was up, maybe longer. And I just fell in love with it immediately, and I've been stuck to it ever since as a main.
I can't lie, that's kind of
That's sick.
sick.
Wait, so can I rewind a little bit?
Yeah.
Titan bubbles could move?
Yeah.
What?
In the alpha, you could walk with it and you could shoot out of it.
What?
Yeah, it was wild.
I had no idea because I was an Xbox guy, so I played beta, but I didn't play alpha.
Yeah, alpha.
That's insane.
You could literally walk, like kind of like the shield bash on
Yeah,
Sentinel. You could do that, but it was an entire bubble. You just cruise
that's
through, like
crazy.
you just cruise the environment. The only spot that was open was like half of the Cosmodrome.
Wow.
We used to try and break the game by trying to explore out of the Cosmodrome and see where we could run around to. And yeah, you could just cruise around in a bubble that you could shoot out of, and your team would just pile into the bubble.
Huh.
It was fucking wild. It was
That
like,
just sounds like military sentinel, no?
yeah,
sort of?
but worse, because the bubble was completely around you, and
Yeah.
when enemies walked into the bubble, they got stunned.
That's insane.
So you could just cruise like over people, and they would get stunned as you were passing them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I'm kind of glad that part didn't stick, because that shit was nuts.
Yeah.
That sounds
But hey, I mean,
super.
it probably fit in right now with, Behemoth existing and everything. It sounds like pretty on par with that. So
Oh, the stun
Who
was
knows?
bad. Think
I also-
blinding nades, but you couldn't move too. So it was like blinding nades and stasis mixed together. You
wow.
couldn't see, you couldn't move. So it was like
That's crazy.
It was rough. All right. Yeah, that's my little backstory. Let's move into it. So, mains. What do you guys main? What do you prefer in scrim, sweats, tourneys,
Oh.
things like that?
Mine is the most popular one. Here we go. Sniper for sure. Just Dire Promise, any hand cannon. Top tree Dawn or top tree Stormcaller, just
Okay.
because of the movement on each of them is just perfect. And the sniping part, I use controller. There you go.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't really think I have like a main of sorts apart from maybe shotgun, but like, cause I've played Hunter on 20 teams. I think it's mainly between Stormcaller and Arc Staff or Spectral, but I'll have probably on Hunter I'll be more comfortable using a legendary hand cannon, Ostringer maybe, Dire. Not really spare, cause I didn't really ever get like a really good spare, so didn't really have that option. But
I feel that.
I don't know, pretty much anyone for you. Like Ace, Thorn, more on Warlock because of the movement. So obviously on Hunter you're just hopping around, so that Icarus grip is kind of really useful. So, but yeah, I don't know, a little more on the Warlock side recently, but yeah, I've sort of always been open to a lot of stuff.
Sure, I love that actually. That kind of makes you a bit of a jack of all trades. I'm surprised nobody said Titan yet. I'm waiting for it.
Oh,
Well,
Oh,
you're
well,
getting to me.
there you go.
So I played Hunter for all of D1. Like I've always played like an assortment, like all of them, but Hunter was easily my main in D1. And then in D2, I played Arcstrider for all of year 1, then part of Forsaken. And then when I came to PC, I had a couple friends that had moved already. And literally, out of all my friends, there was 0 Titans. And Titan was easily my least played class at the time. But I was like, well, I don't like none of my friends play Titan. It'd be cool for us to have one, so I'll play Titan. Why not? I thought Sentinel was really cool at the time too. Middle Tree had just come out. So I played Titan. I've been playing Titan for the past like 2 years now. Lots of Sentinel. So that's kind of what I'm known for in the tourney community now. Just dedicated Titan man. I still play other stuff every once in a while, but I play Titan. I use Thorn. I have almost 100,000 kills on Thorn at this point. I use it religiously. I use Fellwinters. You will almost never see me sniping. I like sniping in Halo and other games, but I've never really liked sniping in Destiny. So you will see the stereotypical Thorn, Fellwinters, shotgun, Titan. Except most people play Striker and stuff. I like Sentinel the most usually. So that's kind of the one weird thing I do. But
Sentinel's great.
yeah, it's great. I love Sentinel, but yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Okay. So, now the fun questions. with your class, what's one thing you think needs buff, and what's one thing you think needs nerf?
Here we go. Tawtree Dawn does need a nerf. It's very overpowered. 100%. I'm sorry. It's 100% overpowered. Stormcaller though, I do think that does need a buff. Anybody could agree with me. The melee part against a hunter is pretty dumb in my opinion, because when you melee a hunter, when it shade step, it does no damage at all. Loses everything.
That
Especially
class,
even-
that
even-
class just
even when
completely
just-
gets neutered down.
Yep. Pretty much.
That class, like, if you have one, like especially by Spectral, throw one smoke at Stormcaller, they can't blink,
Yes,
they're just sort
exactly.
of stuck.
Stormcaller needs a huge buff. I understand that pulse nades are still a thing and like pretty good, but just in general, like Stormcaller just needs a buff.
I mean, the main thing right now, the main reason like Storm's kind of good right now because of the sweat meta with 140 is it's more team
Yeah.
shot based, so people is more sticking together generally, so that's why chain nades are really useful. But like super wise, hunters completely negate the super, and then chain nades, well, chain nades are chain nades. They used to be even better, but so right now,
Still pretty good.
Yeah.
like I don't think you can really change chain nades without completely destroying them. Like a buff would be, I feel too strong. I think chain nades are in a decent spot right now, but the super definitely needs to be a super. Like right now,
Yeah.
one hunter shade step, like a hunter can shotgun shade step shotgun you, and you won't be able to put any damage into him just because of that shade step alone. I feel like there are just way too many options to, or well, I just don't agree with one whole class being able to shit on Stormcaller. But
Exactly.
Right.
And Tawtree Dawn just needs a nerf in general. Like the melee is pretty it's pretty busted as well. And same with like the Icarus dash where you can just literally skate across the map, and the flow and the grenade thing. It's pretty much all around just busted.
Actually makes my entire day. All of these Dawn Blaze needs a bit of a tuning. What would you tune with it if you had your choice? Say you were a Bungie dev, like what would you say if you could pick one thing to say, hey, we're gonna adjust this specifically without obviously nuking it to Nova Warp style?
We could, rest in peace, Nova Warp. That was actually so fun.
Agreed.
Honestly, just the dash. In my opinion, the dash. I say just make it into one dash per like 6 seconds. And
Okay.
the melee could just stay the same, but just get rid of the option where like it literally gets back when you get a melee kill with it. And then that's it, pretty much it.
sort of similar to like what they did with shade step in D1, because back when it originally came out, you could just because you had 2 shade step, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And now,
D1, yeah,
but then they brought it back down to 1.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was still good. Like, I mean, you still got it more often than you do in D2. But, I mean, it's sort of the same concept, right? You like not being able to just spam it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's sort of the thing. That's why Warlocks just move at the speed of light. I feel like one dash, they'd be fast, not as fast, and maybe like up the cooldown for the dash. But
And you think that
Other
would make
than
it a
that,
little more
yeah.
balanced and not as heavy, or
yeah, like again, it's just that class is so fast. The melee is pretty solid. Super's not bad either. Like it's just a strong neutral game. It's just pretty good. It is like that's what I mean. Again, it's mainly like paired up with snipers too. It's just really like good for snipers to go at like an awkward angle and be able to get out quick, and that's sort of and that's sort of tough.
Agreed. Jack, I can answer that question. So this is the Scrim School ScrimCast. It is a podcast and practical Scrim weekly show that we host, where we have guests every week. So that should answer that question for you. All right, moving on to the next one. So y'all obviously play a lot of Face It, a lot of tourneys. Do you guys assign kind of a roles type? Do you have a team captain that does call outs, or do you guys all work together on that kind of thing?
I don't
I'd
think
say-
we've ever had sort of like a team captain. I think I think it's more just sort of people just talk and it happens, right? Like people just listen to each other, but well, you obviously have the sniper and then you have the two shotgunners. The two shotgunners are more just sort of trying to synchronize with each other, and the sniper just sort of lets loose, does his own thing, tries to get angles, survive, all that sort of stuff. But I think there needs to be like a key sort of call out, sort of like synchronization between the two shotgunners. If you want to be like a good pair of shotgunners and like a good team.
Yeah, the way I see it is like, it's kind of like, as far as like a leader thing or whatever, I haven't really been that way with the team. I think that sort of thing comes down to natural like personality types that you put together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got people that are more quiet than others. So you've got like someone who's quiet on a team, and then someone who tends to be more outspoken. Then generally, like, the outspoken person's going to be a bit more of like a shot caller, right? But if you have three people who are, more middle ground, not really quiet, not really loud, it's generally just going to be calling out consistently. And sometimes it comes down to listening to the person that has like the most information, right? Like, if someone just peaked mid and no one else has seen mid yet, and that person starts saying like where they are, what we should do, that person in the moment is kind of the one calling the shot. But that could be anyone at any given moment, right?
Sure.
But yeah, and as far as the way you play, Pantho kind of touched on it. Like, it's kind of like the sniper is his own entity and the two shotgunners are their own entity, because you both kind of have different objectives and how you want to play. The shotgunners kind of want to be moving in and trying to either moving in or like holding doorways to keep people away from the sniper. So those two are kind of working together. The sniper is kind of working on his own to find his own picks with, higher spacing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're all working together for the same objective of wiping the team. But the way each part of the team does it is a little different based on the guns you have.
That's a great answer. Leg, you got anything to add, or did they kind of hit the nail on the head on that one?
Yeah, they pretty much said it.
Apparently, Leg's the quiet one, so.
So I'm just like extremely tired right now. I'm sorry.
No, I feel you. You're good. You're good. I've watched you, so I know you kind of just move and play and play it out.
I pretty much just play the role of the sniper, like they said.
Mm-hmm.
I expect my two shotgunners to be like next to each other and all that, and just let me just be the sniper.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Let me scroll up a little bit. So Floodage asked a really good question that I'm gonna tweak a little bit. He said, "Is it hard to play in the sweat scene with people doxing, and toxicity?" I want to take that a step further. And how do you guys regulate, control, and keep away kind of the toxicity type thing? Doxing's obviously not as much of a problem on PC as it was on console.
Like, as in, how do we avoid it? How do we do something against it?
Yeah.
How
do you kind of like keep your team from getting too toxic? If you guys start losing, that kind of thing, or you're in a winning streak and someone starts bringing it back down, like how do you direct your team back into the flow of just playing smooth together?
Lead by example.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're playing with people you talk to. You're playing with people like you like you're playing against people you like, people that you sort of regularly play against, people you might regularly talk with. So it's not really like. So at the end of the day, there's no like beef between any players, right? So at the end of the day, like there won't be like any hard grudges between players. Like with the toxic aspect, there will be like, I don't really think it's toxic, right? Like there's a difference between being toxic and sort of small bitchiness, like mid-game, moaning here and there. But like me and Wyv would sometimes, like, I don't know, he'd like miss a kill, like get like an unfortunate situation, he'll get like annoyed about, well, not annoyed, but like sort of down about it. And then like someone has to like step in and say something about it and talk up, right? Like, but like it's just sort of talking to your teammates, being there with your teammates, that sort of things.
Yeah, I find like the biggest thing is as far as like keeping your team up and whatever, I find the biggest thing is just leading by example. It's like if your team's frustrated, sometimes it's easy, like if one person is starting to tilt, right? It's easy for you to tilt as well, and it can kind of snowball and you feed off each other. Whereas if someone's tilting and instead of tilting with them, you just continue to call out and continue to, talk about what you're doing, what you need to be doing, whatever. And just like some words of encouragement here and there, it can tend to really like contain it much more easily than feeding into it. I think that's the biggest thing for me that I figured out over the past few years is just kind of leading by example. Don't feed.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that makes perfect sense. Because I know that's kind of a big thing in higher end scrim type play sets is obviously egos are there, energies are high. Trying to roll that back in is tough sometimes. It really is. So I appreciate it. So let's talk stasis and 120s. How do you feel about it?
Leg, how do you feel about 120s? I think you have a lot to say.
Ban them as a whole.
Like 120 is just so compared to 140 that like I don't know. It's again it's situational, right? Like 120s are like good, but like in a 1v1, you're less likely to be able to win a 1v1 with a 120. It's it's sort of team based. You gotta get shots in. You gotta get shots in with your teammate to be more specific. But I don't know. Like on Battlefield Trials, 120s were really, really, really strong. But yeah, that's sort of it. But with stasis, I feel like on the stasis, like I don't really think it's stasis the problem. I think it's like Glacianade alone because of like how the explosion, how strong it is, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, for me, like it's hard to say because a lot of people did like lately a lot of tourneys and stuff have been banning more than 120 per team. And it's hard for me to have a really good opinion on that because I never played sweats with multiple 120s on the same team. So like before they banned it. So like I don't have that proper experience. For me personally, like my opinion on them versus 140s is that I guess for the way that I play, like I tend to be a little bit more aggressive. So like I find that a lot of the scrim maps, especially maps like Javelin, I'm able to, like 120s are beneficial because they have a really long range, right?
Yep.
Almost like pretty much double that of a 140. But I find like on maps like Jav, I don't have that hard of a time working my way in and fighting 120s at 140 range and just like using my RPM to win.
Right.
So like I don't necessarily like personally, I don't know if I would mind if multiple 120s were allowed, just because I don't think I haven't personally had that big of a problem handling them before. Okay. But obviously, like I said, I wasn't really around for when multiple 120s were allowed, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. But that's kind of my opinion on those. And then yeah, as far as stasis goes, stasis is just really awkward because it's just so much better than all the other light subclasses. Just as a whole, there's more customizability, more perks. Like there's just flat out more perks on it. One of the biggest skill gaps in this game is movement, and it gets rid of that, which can kind of water down the skill gap quite a bit because someone who's really played years and years of Destiny and mastered their movement can immediately get hit, and a lot of their skill is just taken away, which is frustrating to say the least in certain situations. So I don't know. That's just kind of. That stasis is just a hard topic overall.
I feel that. Because I know I saw I got banned from Face It pretty damn quick. You guys got anything to add to that with regarding stasis? Do you think one stasis class should be banned versus all of them? Do you think all of them should be on the same? What if just the oh my god, what is it called? Not stasis itself, but the perks added on that you get. What if those were just banned? Do you think that would make it more balanced?
I think it's like because it's just a tough question, right? Because
You guys also just got off
some
trials of freezing.
fragments are less useful than others. Like that damage boost fragment is kind of strong. With if you freeze someone, you get the damage boost.
Yep.
But like that can be hard to use. That can be like tough to play against. But then again, you can sort of ban stasis abilities and sort of control what stasis abilities are allowed, which will sort of control how useful that perk is. So I think as a whole, stasis, it's just not even close to being relatively similar to anything like any other classes in the game. So it's just like there's nothing that can really compete against it. Like there's just no counter to stasis, which is the problem.
Other than like Top Tree Dawn, but that's like the only class that really keeps up with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think personally, I'm pretty rules wise, I'm more open minded than a lot of people in scrims. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's how I am. So like personally, no stasis, I'm pretty happy with. Like I'm totally cool just playing with regular light classes. I'm also pretty cool just playing one stasis per team. I feel like that usually keeps it down. And like when there's only one per team, it's easier to keep track of the abilities. Like if a Glacier Nade was just thrown and you know like it's gonna be, because the cooldowns are longer on stasis, like 50 seconds to a minute before a new one's gonna be up, so you can kind of like keep track of it. When there's 3 of them, like it's really hard to keep track of. So like I'm pretty much fine with one stasis class, all perks and everything, whatever. Maybe no fragments, but or just no stasis. Those two kind of work for me as far as scrim rules go.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely run. So in here, we kind of run a subset of face it rules. I do like having one stasis per team. So one stasis per team, no fragments. So
I think that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, I think stasis kind of got a bad rap because people don't really want to adapt to something new. But I enjoy stasis for the fact that it keeps away just the hold W and shoot, right? You kind of have to plan, okay, I need to play this corner a little bit just in case they have a Glacier Nade or a Shatter Dive or a Behemoth Slide, right? One stasis is definitely beatable in my opinion anyway. You just kind of have to work with it together as a team. So we kind of do it that way. We do one stasis and one 120 per team.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah. So Vasquez asked a question. He said, if Destiny ended today, what game would you guys transition to? If competitively, if that's what you wanted to do.
Well, the thing is, Destiny as a whole isn't really competitive, so it's not like we're going from a competitive game to something competitive, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I already play some other games, like I play Valorant, play a bit of Aim Guards that just came out, and I don't know, like school's kind of growing up, like coming up, so it's just if there's no like Destiny, then there isn't really like, well, there are alternatives like I said, but like I don't know, competitive gaming is not really like the future I'm personally looking for. I'm looking for go to school, get all that stuff done,
Okay.
get a job, all that.
So
I don't know.
School's
Professional gaming isn't.
Gaming is. You got it. Got it. That's makes perfect sense. All right, Leg, Wyve, what you got?
Just probably transition to COD. I've honestly I'm honestly a huge fan of the COD scene. I'm actually really like a big fan of them.
Okay.
And try to transition to COD, honestly. Like I've been a huge fan of the competitive scene on that. I just don't really play it. I just like I'm a fan of it.
Sure. All right. Wyvern, what you got?
I mean, based on what I said earlier, Halo is easily where I'd go.
My dude.
Because yeah, I played that since I was a kid. That's like the only other game I took super seriously other than Destiny. So Halo would be pretty easy. Honestly, when Halo Infinite comes out in a year, that's probably the move I'm making anyway. And yeah, for me, like regarding school and stuff, like I'm taking classes and I want to get my associates in computer science. But I definitely am interested in having a career in gaming. I want to play games professionally and stream and stuff like that. I'm just kind of waiting for a game that Destiny's really good for going streams, but competitively, I'm waiting for like a new Halo title or something
Yep.
to take seriously.
I feel that immensely. I was bummed that it got delayed until the fall, but that's definitely on my radar unless Destiny really picks it up in the next, few seasons. Yeah, I think that was a really good question. Wish says he has a question. I'd love to hear it. But in the meantime, how do you guys feel about the 140 to 150 change?
I don't mind it.
Or sorry, 150 to 140, I should say.
I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's chill. I think because I use Thorn. So for me, like, it was kind of nice I appreciate, like, obviously losing the RPM is a nerf, but the extra range, like, every day I'd take the extra range over the RPM. It just makes the game so much more livable. The number one engagement that I use in my head, because it was the most frustrating engagement with the lack of range we had in Shadowkeep, and it's on Javelin when you're fighting like elbow. So like when there's a sniper sitting outside and you're challenging elbow from inside, your hand cannon at that range, that's not a very long lane at all. I mean, that's a pretty short lane, but you are hitting like 40s from there. And if there's a sniper there, there's no chance. The sniper kills you every time. And that engagement is so frustrating because that position should not be that powerful. But now I'm hitting full damage from that range, and I can actually challenge snipers from reasonable lanes like that. And that's been the biggest thing that I've noticed with the change that I really like, is that it allows me to fight snipers much more effectively because I'm not forced to play the shortest of short angles, which is great.
Yeah.
So
that's perfect actually. I feel it. You guys got anything to add?
No, not really. That's all of it.
Just ban 120s.
Ban 120s. Is it 120s as a whole, or is it specific roles on 120s?
As a whole.
Not a fan of.
It's extremely OP.
Okay, interesting. Explain. What you got, like?
It's just I find it like very dumb knowing the fact that I could get pretty much 2-tapped across the map. You know how like each end of Endless Veil from the middle? It's pretty dumb knowing the fact that I could just get 2-tapped immediately like that.
Right. No, it makes
like
sense.
The range on it and the impact on it is just, I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of one of those you're lucky with the 2-tap if you get a double damage glitch or something along those lines.
Much.
Yeah, feel free to type questions in chat if you have them. Chin, what's going on? Welcome in. I definitely recognize that name. He says, do you think Titan is OP?
Behemoth, yes. Everything else, not really.
The thing about Titan is it's really like, Titan is one of the most common classes that people get angry at, right? And I kind of break it down into, the thing is, Titan has the worst movement in the game. Like, Warlocks, even not non-Dawns, can kind of skate around. Dawns especially are absurd. And Hunters have crazy movement. Whereas Titans don't really have that stuff. So Bungie knows this, and they compensate for it with really good abilities, which is why they feel very powerful, because they get killed by melees from across the map and super strong grenades and stuff. So it's like Titans are ridiculous, but it's really just, honestly, in my opinion, the best thing they could do is tone down the abilities and then add back D1 Titan skating. Like, find a way to add in Titan skating that isn't easily macroable, so that people aren't just macroing it and you actually have to like time your jumps and whatnot, and then tone down the abilities, and it will feel like way more in line with the other classes, I think.
Sure.
And then other than that, yeah, Behemoth is just OP across the board.
Behemoth is nuts. To tell you,
but other than just general Titan, like the light subclasses, that's kind of my opinion.
Yep. I mean, I dig it. I really do. I saw a question that said, what do you guys think about 120 versus 140?
Again, it's so situational. In like team shots, having a 120 paired up with a 140 works really well. Maybe not two 120s, because I guess you put the damage output, but then the time to kill isn't as fast. It's just all based on like how much damage the 120s do, right? Because, but again, in a 1v1, a 140 is probably more likely to win the 1v1. So again, it's just really, really situational.
So you think that a 120 will beat a 1v1 against a 140?
No, other way around. Sorry,
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I might have said it wrong, but I meant like a 140 is better than a 1v1 against a 120.
Yes, I 100% agree, and I've found that as well. At the right angles and kind of, you know, head peeking out and playing your lanes a little bit better. I do 100% feel like 140s are a little more powerful.
Yeah, I feel similarly. It's like I know a lot of people that think 120s are infinitely better than 140s. And I tend to disagree. I think they're pretty even. I agree with what Pantho said, where I think like more than 120 per team could get a little like slow. Like you don't have the 1v1 potential, I guess, across enough players. So like personally, like I just use Thorn regardless, but like no, even if 120s were uncapped, you could have as many per team, I would still be using like Thorn or Ace of Spades. Just because I like the RPM, and like I said earlier, I think on a lot of the scrim maps they're smaller and it's not that unrealistic to work your cover and work your way in and play the 140 range versus 120s. And I really like being able to get in that range and out RPM them and get my kills aggressively. Like that's kind of how I like to play. So I personally really like the way they play together, 120s and 140s. I think, I don't know, some people think 120s are really OP, but I like the dynamic personally.
Sure. No, that makes perfect sense. So now that everything is a 140, obviously, do you guys feel that there's a lot more options to play in kind of a scrim setting with 140s, with, you know, Thorn and Ace and obviously Dire and geez, everything really holds a 140.
Yeah, there are quite a few good like options now, because before it was sort of just the exotics. Well, by exotics I mean just pretty much just Thorn, Spare, and Dire. But again, if we're talking about sweats, I guess you have all these other options now. Some of them you can't really get anymore, like Ostringer, but yeah, no, there are definitely more options to use. You can sort of pair anything up with the Felwinters, but again, some of the guns you just can't get anymore. So you just have to grind before. It's for new players. It's still pretty much just Dire. Actually, you can get old fashioned too, but that's sort of the two 140s. That's kind of the best for you.
Yeah, there's way more options, like Pantho said. Like Dire, Spare, Thorn was pretty much all you ever saw. Now you see Dire, Spare, even old fashioned can be decent, like a quick draw snapshot roll. You get Thorn, you get Ace, you get Hawk Moon, just yeah, Ostringer, way more stuff to use hand cannon wise.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I kind of like it. I really do. Gives you a little bit more opportunity to mix around. Leg, you got anything to add to that? I know you're falling asleep over there.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, Ace is pretty strong in this meta. So it's like the 140. It could pretty much could compete like again. Thorn is still pretty good. Like it's still up there. I guess every other hand kind of just like able to compete now. Like old fashioned and all that. Yeah, everything could compete now.
Most definitely.
Like then, nah, but now, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like to add, I think I like the interaction between Ace and Thorn now, because like Ace is cool because it's pretty normal when it doesn't have Mento up, but once you get a kill and you get Mento, then you get a lot of like perks, obviously. Whereas like in the other way, Thorn has a really good perk to begin with, being able to burn people, keeping them weak longer and stuff. And it also has an on-kill perk as well, but it doesn't last forever like Ace's. So like those two guns are an interesting choice between one or the other, because you can kind of play similar because they're both like damage buff guns. But Thorn gives you a little more consistency, whereas Ace gives you like nuclear rounds when you get one kill, but you have to get the kill first. So it's kind of like, I like the way those two, like the choice between those two guns works.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. How do you guys feel about 180s in this in this metas and stuff.
They just don't really compete.
Yeah,
They haven't
don't.
competed. The only like, well, we had the 180 meta, and just since then they've just sort of been lackluster.
The only reason we had a 180 meta is because NF could 3-tap. The problem is they're killed. 180s actually can't be balanced unless they change the RPM. Because you have to remember, this game used to be double primary with slower kill times, and they built 180s with the intention of those kill times. So they worked fine then, but with the way they adjusted the damage numbers come year 2, the RPM doesn't make any sense, because you either have 4 shots, which is one of the longest time to kills in the game, or it's 3 shots and it's one of the fastest time to kills in the game, which we saw with Not Forgotten. So they can't, it's impossible to balance them. They're either really bad or they're the best guns in the game, and there's no in between. They have to either like up the RPM or lower it or something.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I guess I could play into that. Have you guys tried malfeasance lately?
No.
I don't even think I have malfeasance.
I don't think I
don't have it.
It's nuts because it can. The way it works is if you drop 5 slugs into somebody from any range, it explodes and kills them. And now with the larger mag size, you can actually, in a single clip, you can tap more than one person with 5 slugs.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of fun as a meme weapon. I have a buddy that was running it in the T-show scrims last week, or the Scrim Queens, and he was actually like popping off with it because he just popped 5 slugs and wiped a teammate wiped the enemy from across the map.
That's dope. I will say they're fun. Like I really like the new raid one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're competitive, but I think they're fun.
The prosperity.
Yeah, the prosperity. That's what it is.
I can't get a good roll at all.
Oh, mine's terrible, but I like the way the gun looks. So.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that. All right, let's dive into trials, and then we'll open it up for a couple more questions from chat. I'm sure all 3 of you played trials this weekend. How'd you feel about it? I mean, beyond
it was so
the map.
fun. It was so fun.
I kind of had fun too. It was pretty fun. Less
I
cheers
didn't
than
play
usual.
I had a blast too, but I mean, I watched Red on launch, and I don't know if you guys saw that nice little clip.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. No,
Are you talking about the clip that he tweeted out?
Oh,
no.
No, where he lost it. He got frozen 4 rounds in a row.
I didn't see that.
Oh, it was great. I have
That sounds hilarious.
I posted the clip in my Discord. Red's a homie, and he had we had him in here a couple weeks back, or a couple months back now, and I've been watching him ever since. And he was doing the launch trials, first week, because we don't really count the first week that we had, and he got frozen back to back games to lose the round. And finally, by the last one, this man rips his headset off, mutes it, and just starts smacking the shit out of his chair. And then just puts his headset back on, and everyone's like, Red, you deafened, you good? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm chilling. I'm fine.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, he was last Guardian standing, and he just got iced and then shatterdived. And iced and then Behemoth slid. And then iced and then shatterdived. And he's just like... It was, he had probably 4 clips back to back that were like, Red's down bad. Red's down bad times 2. It was probably the best example. Like, I don't think I've ever seen him rage quit trials that fast. Or rage quit a stream that fast. He shut his whole stream down. He was just like, I'm done. And he dove back into it for sure, but that was like... He just got frozen every single time he tried to engage.
Yeah, that's why I didn't play Charles this week.
Right.
That was literally the only thing I pretty much died to in Trials. Besides like the top lane, getting out sniped at times, but only that.
Yeah, for me, like, to be honest, Stasis has really ruined like matchmaking Crucible for me. It's just it's incredibly frustrating. I'm I'm kind of the quick play lord, so I still play quick play. But other than that, I pretty much just scrim and play quick play. I'll probably play trials a little bit more in the coming weeks, but this weekend I was a little busy already, and I was just kind of not looking to get involved in that.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Do you think you're gonna jump in next week? Do you think you're gonna dodge it
Probably.
the whole time?
No, I'll probably hop in the coming weeks. Like I said, it's just like I was a little busy already, and I'm not really. Trials isn't exciting like it used to be to me, largely because of stasis and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll probably try it out next week or something.
I dig it. What do you guys want for the maps? What are you looking forward to?
Javelin.
Javelin.
Jeff.
Javelin now.
Immediately, just Jeff.
Oh yeah, after the boss.
Just scrim maps. Javelin, Dead Cliffs, Burnout, Endless. Trying to think.
There aren't many good maps in this
My
game.
my one map that like I'll acknowledge this map is like it's logistically terrible. Like there's no reason why I should like it. Like, you know, Destiny Tracker, it shows you like your best maps all the way down to your worst maps based like statistically. And for some reason, the Fortress is like by far my best map statistically. Like it's not even close, and I don't know why, but I love playing the Fortress. So if we ever get Fortress in Trials, I might be happy. I don't know what it is, dude. I would love that map.
I feel like Fortress would play so fucking slow.
I want
I
Eternity
really
back.
do.
Bring back
dude.
Eternity.
Bro, that's everyone's reaction. Everyone's like, why? Why do you like that map? I can't even explain it. I'm
Bro,
good
all
at
you'd
the
have to do
Fortress.
is-
I don't know.
All you'd have to do is get a pick and just sit. Like, just sit down. All right, what else you guys got? We're here at Fortress and Jav. Please give me something worthwhile.
Eternity.
Hold on, I can't lie. I'm pretty sure they took half the bad maps out. Honestly, I don't know what maps they took out of the game. But I don't know. I don't really play like much pubs. Like I don't really play quick play. I sort of just keep to my occasional base in the tourney on the weekend trials. You know, so that sort of thing. But I don't know. I guess some like sweat maps in general, that they're all pretty nice. Well, I think compared to D1 maps as a whole on D2 aren't as nice. But I mean, like you do have like the occasional good map like Dead Cliffs. That's a new addition, which is pretty good since the start of the game for all metas. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's just a lot of I don't know. I feel like we just need more, right? Like we just don't have enough.
Agreed. So if you could bring any map back from D1 or D2, what would it be? What do you think would play
Asylum.
well?
Asylum.
Fucking
I
love
know,
you guys.
honestly, I don't even know if it'll play well. I just want to bug.
That's my thing. Asylum was like probably my favorite map in Destiny 1, but I don't know if it would play that great in this game. Because I think like the reason some Destiny 1 maps don't work as well on D2 is for one on PC and I guess now on consoles, the FOV is different. It's like a really interesting tidbit that one of my friends talked about is so have you noticed that Exodus played way better in D1 than D2? Yep. The map itself hasn't actually changed like at all. Like the sizing is very similar, the structures, but because of the FOV, what's happened is in D1 you could be watching a lane, right? And all you could see was that one lane you were looking at on that map. But there are lots of lanes now where when you're looking at it, you can see the others in your peripherals when you couldn't before, which makes the game way more passive because you can see more lanes at a time. So that's like a weird thing that I never really thought of until he brought it up. But I think Asylum would have that issue. And I also think the other thing is D1 movement wasn't as good because everyone was on controller and just in general, like we have Top Tree Dawn now. Nothing came close to that in D1. So something like Asylum, I don't know. I feel like the increased movement could make the map feel worse. But
okay,
I think Asylum would be a good map regardless. But yeah, I don't know. I'm literally on a Wikipedia page looking at D1 maps.
I'm on a Wikipedia page.
I liked Firebase. Fire-based.
Oh yeah, no,
alchemy.
fire-based is kind of fun too.
I think that would. I think that map
would
could
be nice
work.
to have.
I think that map could work well in this game.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
again, like what Viv was saying, like D2 and D1 are just such different games. You'd hope for them to bring out new maps, like something they took time in designing new, and we don't really have.
Yeah, I prefer something specifically made for Destiny 2. I think there's a reason why the kind of unanimous best map for most people is Javelin. There are outliers, but most people like it, and I think it's not a coincidence that it's a Destiny 2 specific map.
Interesting. I dig it. I really do. Those were actually really good points. Because I mean, everyone's got that, that warm and fuzzies from D1 days, of this map was great or this map played so well, and then they bring something like Burnout, right? And Burnout just doesn't feel like it plays as well. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
So I've never actually really dug into why it doesn't feel as good. Same as Bannerfall, right? Bannerfall in D1 felt great. I absolutely love that map.
Is it me or does like Burning Shrine feel just so much bigger than Burnout?
Oh,
Maybe
it is. No,
it is.
Burnout is.
And everything. Just Burnout just
It's
feels
not.
so much more, just so much
Burnout
smaller.
is smaller. Like, it's not just the way it looks. Like, it actually is built smaller, which has always boggled my mind a little bit, because why in the game that has faster movement would you make the map more cramped? I feel like you'd want to open it up more.
Yeah, I feel like, because I feel like Burning Shrine, like Destiny 1 Burnout, would have been kind of nice to play on for D2.
Yeah,
But
the other thing is that
more movement, but I just don't really understand. Like, I don't know why making it smaller was the right move.
Yeah, I don't get that either. The other thing that they neglected to do is, I think, a nice balancing touch in D1 is that there is the sun outside. So even though the outside is kind of the low ground, and more of a disadvantageous spot, by having the sun out there, kind of like blinding you when you're looking out, it could be frustrating, but it kind of balanced the two positions.
Sure.
Whereas when they got rid of the sun, now like outside, it's just really, it's not a good place to be a lot of the time. Which I think D1 handled better.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you got anything to add? You're pretty quiet.
Just bring back Asylum. That's all I want. Every other map, nah, I just want Asylum.
Just bring back Asylum.
Like, it's a simple map, man. Bring back Asylum, ban 120.
These one-liners, though, are so good. They're so great. That's probably my favorite of this whole thing, is you guys got these like very, very in-depth responses, and like it's just like ban 120s. That's it. Just ban 120s. Bring back Asylum. All right, we are rolling up towards the hour mark. Chat, if you guys have any more questions of value, please feel free to ask. Learn from these guys. No matter what you feel like they did in the past or what you think that they did, take it out of here. Take a chance to learn from some insane players. I don't know if you've watched them recently, but they pop the fuck off. So definitely a chance to ask questions. Rui says, Leg, do you want to get Chick-fil-A with him? I mean, that's a fair question. I respect the shit out of it. I had Chick-fil-A today.
No. I hate Rui.
Oh, that's pain. So I know Rui's history to you three, but in here he's actually been very cordial, very kind, and really been working on it. So we've kind of let him just hang out for a bit, and
honestly, I don't mind Rui. He's just done some weird stuff.
Yes.
but
Yeah,
we
I've never
have-
had a
yes.
problem with him
We won't-
personally.
we won't talk about it, I guess.
Yep. I'm well versed in, although I don't play and face it every day, I'm very versed in the Twitter. I'm very versed in the scrim scene type thing, and I talk to a lot of the guys, so I get a feel for everybody before they come on the show, before they come into chat. And Rui and I talked, and he's actually been doing really well in here. So we kind of let him hang out, and he definitely wants to go against you three, which I'm sure will happen. And it's really fun to ego him when you guys push him in, depending on what his team is. We got to it was me, Sepp, and Leclerc last week, and we beat him, and he raged for probably, God, it had to have been a half hour that he just jumped into the VC and turned on Juice World and let it ride.
Sounds about right.
It was like all you hear is just Juice World playing in the background. Just he didn't talk at all. He dropped 42 and lost. It was awesome. All right. Boston asked a quick question real quick. Boston Brotherhood says, ask Leg if Stasis has a place in Sweats. We answered that earlier, but if you want to do the quick and dirty with the nope.
Ban it.
Ban it all. Fuck them all.
I like how people are like they're specifically asking like they want this in-depth answer, and then Leg is just like ban it. Ban 120s.
Leg's my favorite for these questions right now, but absolutely.
Just nice and quick, just quick to the point.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Instant
No wasting
point.
time.
He doesn't need it yet. He doesn't need a reason. He's just like, no. Fuck them all. While we're waiting for chat to ask any more questions if they have them, gentlemen, if you three have your links, please post them in chat. And chat, it is your responsibility to go follow these three. Show some love to them for being on the channel, being in the Scrim School this week. Definitely worth watching. They really are. I jump between all three of them every time I see them online. Damn it, Rui. Don't follow Rui.
Block Rui, that's what you want to do.
Rui, you got a ways to go before I shout you out, my friend. You've been killing it. But you've got a ways to go. Mr. IEG, smile.
Yeah, how don't you get the original Mr. Leg? Who takes Mr. Leg?
Right?
I don't know, dude. It's taken.
That was one of my favorites. I was searching for Leg at first when I was first hearing about you, and I was like, why can't I find Leg? And I was like, son of a bitch, this is a capital I.
Yeah, I kept telling Leg like a while back to change his name to Mr. like Leg with the L underscore. And I don't know, I guess he prefers the Mr. IEG.
Nah, I like IEG.
It's just harder to find. Right?
Yeah, I have a homie that plays on Xbox, and he's top like 10 right now on Xbox. And his name's Ayuk D because Luck D was taken.
Oh yeah, no, on the console especially, people used to have all sorts of combinations from like I's, like ILs, like that type of stuff, and then you had your X spam, you had your Z's, you had your Y's.
Yep. I remember the lowercase x, capital X, and then your name.
Yes. That's the classic.
That was the old school one back in the day. We did get another question. Fuck, where to go? Chat was moving quick for a sec. We asked that one. Wish asks, Leg, is it considered copying your name if I didn't know who you were when I switched to PC? I don't know if you remember when you jumped into the fire team and he had off a perk 30 and you had...
Dude, there's so many. I just lost count. I think I keep it.
That's actually a good question. Wyv, when's your next stream? Because we're playing a 2-month-old VOD right now.
Yes, I'm currently like building a stream room,
Okay.
which is taking a little time. So I have to do some paint, I have to build a desk, build some shelves, get some special lighting stuff done. So it'll probably be like sometime in January, if I had to guess. But yeah, we're coming back better than ever, so excited for that.
I missed those late night quick play streams.
Oh, they'll be
Right.
back for sure.
Well,
I've made
late
sure to
night,
keep
well-
my number one, just barely.
Well, Wave streams are like demon hours. He streams at like 6 a.m. for him. It's crazy. I don't know how he does that.
The quick play fuels me.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I'm looking forward to it as well because I haven't really been able to catch one of your streams live, but I definitely went back and watched a bunch of your VODs, and Can't wait to see it, man. Not gonna lie.
Appreciate it.
I really am. I'm really excited. Hold on, I'm handling something as well. Also, if you guys have Twitters, if you have Instas, if you have YouTubes, if you have OnlyFans, you're obviously welcome to post those as well. And chat, it is your responsibility to go follow.
I'm not really one to promote myself under someone else, but
man,
you don't want to promote your OnlyFans?
You know what? I make the
we keep that
OnlyFans
quiet.
joke. It was a joke until we had Nighthawk on here, and Nighthawk actually had his own OnlyFans.
That's hilarious.
My goodness. Okay.
Yeah, and it was his OnlyFans. Yeah, Aiden dropped it right there. His OnlyFans is one picture. That's it, and it is a picture of a naked mole rat.
Nice.
And I laughed so hard.
That sounds like a good way to spend your time. If you're bored, just make an OnlyFans and yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I actually have an OnlyFans here, and he dropped it in there and just starts giggling, and I was like, no fucking way.
I'm just so confused as to how bored he was. Like, what was going through his mind? That's one of them.
I'm sure somebody made. I'm sure people in his chat were making jokes about it, like, you need an OnlyFans, you need an OnlyFans, you need an OnlyFans. So he made it with a naked mole rat. He named it something.
Right.
It was like Carl or Steve or something like that too. And yeah, it was fucking wild. It was probably one of my favorite experiences on the cast. Like, but we are definitely rolling over the hour mark. Let's go to a be right back screen, guys. If you want to go grab some water, go to the restroom, feel free to. When we're on the be right back screen, if they have questions, they can type them in chat and you guys can still respond. So yeah, let's get it popping.
All right.
Cool. I'm gonna get some water.